What? This is a casual look. So I couldn't pour my drink on camera for you today because I'm drinking boxed wine. I think I've mentioned this brand before because it's my go-to boxed wine brand, but it is Maison Cubi wine Syrah Carignon. I think it's $28 a box and you get 4 bottles in there. So you're basically getting $7 a bottle, which who doesn't need a bargain, especially now, am I right? So this is a new video series that I came up with in honor of the fact that, you know, most of us are having to be inside all of the time. Sometimes, you know, you don't want to feel schleppy. You want to throw on some makeup and feel fancy in your sweatshirt. And so that is why I am deeming this series All Made Up and Nowhere to Go. Ain't nothing wrong with, you know, pulling out the pork rinds, pouring yourself a drink, looking fancy as hell, and just laying on your couch. So these are basically going to be like, you know, a series of get ready with me's. They're going to be chatty. I haven't even decided like what kind of look I'm going to do. I'm just going to be super spontaneous. Okay, so I've already put this on my face. This is my Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer. It's the illuminating one. This is something I featured in my last video, which was a top 5 video about products that make me feel youngish. Guys, I am loving this primer because it's so dewy. It's skincare, but it's also makeup prep obsessed. Okay, so I already put that on. I put my eye cream on. I've done all the things. I'm gonna go in with my Bite Changemaker Supercharged Micellar Foundation, which is like my go-to foundation right now. I mean, I know I don't have to necessarily tell you why I'm wearing this crazy animal print turban with a bow, but there is a reason for it. And it's because I just finished Tiger King, like just now, like 20 minutes ago. So it is fresh on my mind. So I am the shade L15 in this. And this is one of the most perfect matches to my skin that I've ever found with a foundation, ever. Next, I'm going to go in with my ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. I am in the shade Light 33C. Also want to just remind you that if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Subscribe, please. Also, if you could throw this video a thumbs up and share it with any folks that you know might be digging all my treats, I would be so appreciative. And I'm also using my BK Beauty Sponge, which I use every single day. But my first thought is, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you what I'm using. This is my e.l.f. Cream Blush in the shade Soft Peach. I feel like these are a little bit hard to find nowadays, but I'll definitely try to find it and link it down below, just like everything else I'm going to use. Now I'm going to use my ColourPop No Filter Setting Powder. This is just the translucent shade. So the first thought I want to share regarding Tiger King is so many of the interviews in the scenes look like it's a mockumentary. Like you can't even believe it's real. The stuff that's coming out of these people's mouths is like you couldn't even write it better than that. If Christopher Guest doesn't try to remake this in movie form, I'm gonna be really mad about it. Secondly, do you notice how no one ever refers to Carol as Carol? She's always Carol Baskin, and I will remember that name until the day I die. So I'm going to bronze. I'm gonna use my Refer P22 brush, and I'm going to use my Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. Also, just wanna say the packaging straight up looks like jungle packaging. We're pretty much on theme here. But you know what will actually be burned into my brain until the day I die? That bitch Carol Baskin. You know, I'm not quite getting it. It's more like Baskin. Baskin. That's it. That's what it is. Well, if you guys don't know what Tiger King is, you live under a rock, first of all. Where have you been? It is a Netflix original documentary series. And what I find so interesting is that this began with a guy who just wanted to make a documentary about these people down in Florida and Oklahoma who basically own their own zoos and they're obsessed with collecting big cats, which apparently is completely legal, which blows my mind. Feeling like I'm going kind of peachy, but also like smoky nude situation, you know, kind of 60s. I think I'm gonna pull out my Sahara palette and use that. Carol Baskin is probably one of the most terrifying people on the show to me, which, you know, is a pretty bold statement because everyone's pretty damn scary. I feel like she's in such sharp contrast with so many people on the show who are such just flamboyant characters, and Carol Baskin is giving you a sociopathic Ted Bundy situation if I've ever seen one. She has those like bedroom eyes and they're just like totally dead, just like cat prints on top of cat prints on top of more cat prints on top of furniture that is cat prints on top of pants and a top and a necklace and the matching earrings and maybe like a ramshackle flower crown. Caroline judging. She just got that very sort of like overly confident, overly calm vibe to her. Basically, there is this idea that she may have killed her husband and put him through a meat grinder. I'm not scared at all. Michael Keaton is sort of our go-to idea for Joe Exotic. However, I do think that Christopher Guest would probably nail it to the damn ground. But the first question that's most important is that eyeliner something he applies every day or is it a tattoo? There's such a patheticness and a sadness to this story. So, you know, I'm kind of conflicted, partially entertained, wildly horrified, pretty scared, and also a little bit sad. It's a lot of feelings when you watch this show. A lot of these people should be in jail who are in the documentary. And, you know, I mean, I hate to say I feel bad for Joe Exotic, but also, do I? You know, he started out, they show this footage of him at the end when he started out, and he just seemed, well, obviously so much younger, but probably still had really intense eyeliner on. And, you know, he seemed like he genuinely loved these animals. He wanted good things for them. It seemed really genuine. And then, you know, as the years went on, he basically just was all about self-interest, and he started treating the animals worse and worse and just kind of focusing on the money. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, and you know, it just all went sideways, and he was the only person who really had to answer for anything. I also want to know how they got some of these people to do these interviews in the scenarios they were doing them. So the guy who, you know, he's the hired hitman to take out Carole Baskin. At one point he is in a tub taking a bath being interviewed, and it seemed totally natural. Like I was watching it just dead serious, and then I had to pause it and be like, wait a second, how in the hell did they get this man just casually taking a bath, just pouring water all over him with like a bucket, just casually telling his story? There is a scene toward the end where Carole Baskin is with her husband Howard, which also one of the greatest horrors of the entire series is just them. Just their gross, weird relationship. He's like crazily enamored with her. He straight up sings If Ever I Would Leave You from Camelot, and it's so uncomfortable because he's just awful at it. You can tell she's mildly horrified, as she should be. It is just a random scene, it comes out of nowhere, and it is so unintentionally comedic, I cannot handle it. And then you've got Rick, who's basically the guy who was hired to make Joe Exotic's like TV series back in the day. This guy is such a character. He is like chain smoking, drinking a coffee. He almost talks through his teeth, and it's very compelling. And now I've heard that basically people are reopening the case on Carole Baskin and the fact that she very well may have killed her husband and maybe put him through a meat grinder. Although when you ask Carole about it, she's creepy as hell, and she like has this super weird nervous cackle she's always doing, like a little hyena. People think I put him through the meat grinder. I mean, I couldn't even put a hand through a meat grinder, much less a whole person. It's like, oh my God, Carole, you better work on your act. Oh yeah, this is gonna be just a really casual look. You guys tell me what you think. Like, how do you feel? Are you feeling feelings for anyone on the show? Do you hate everyone? Are you conflicted? So now I'm gonna go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade dark brown. I know this is gonna sound like really lame and superficial, but there's this shot of Joe Exotic and he's in jail and he's so sad and just like beside himself, and his blonde Goldilocks hair has grown out and the bangs are just like this like dishwater brown. He just has this sadness in his eyes, and I can't, like, honestly I started tearing up, which is just shameful, because do I think that Joe Exotic should be in jail in due time? Yeah, I think he probably should, because he did some really messed up things. But I also think that everyone else in the show should probably be doing more time than him. He's kind of like a little more harmless than some other terrifying people on that show. Jeff Lowe, on the other hand, can rot in hell. I mean, he is just a fiend. He's just a disgusting con man. Talk about someone who is just like dead in the eyes and trying to play it so calm and so cool and just thinks he's untouchable. I mean, at least Joe Exotic like admits to some of the things he's done and says that, yeah, he started out with good intentions, but it got away from him. My Aunt Leslie has started coming to my live streams, which is so sweet. And I'm on a text thread with her and my parents. And she had heard me talking about Tiger King in my live streams. And she was like, I had no idea this whole time that this show is a documentary. I just thought it was like a Tarantino film. Aunt Leslie. Although, to be fair, it does seem like someone just wrote this as a screenplay. This is my Lancome Monsieur Big. So I go in with that to give my lashes some lusciousness. And then I use my Benefit Roller Lash and I comb through them and make sure that length is there. And it literally looks like I have false lashes when I do this combo. You know, I think that's the thing about Joe that makes me sad. Like, he was such an idiot about talking about how much he just had it out for Carole Baskin. He just wouldn't keep his mouth shut. He was just so dumb about it. And then, you know, when all this shit went down, everyone had their eye on him because they're like, well, he was talking about it for years and years. You know, turns out there were other people in the mix and other people, Jeff Lowe, behind it. But the only person who had to pay for it was Joe Exotic. The series is wildly entertaining up to a point, and then it really does get pretty dark and pretty sad toward the end. So now we're going to do blush. I'm going to be using my Natasha Denona Love Glow Cheek Palette, which is like one of my favorites. Going in with this blush shade right here called Super Glow. Ooh, the nice thing about this is too, it just looks like you also have highlighter on. It's a 2-in-1 stitch. Okay. I'm gonna be extra and use this glitter topper. It is the diamond powder. Listen guys, go big or go home. Oh wait, I'm already home. Hello, gorgeous. And then I'm gonna take this highlighter. It is the Glow Impact Highlighter. Wow. Just going to kind of use my damp sponge and really make sure that's melted into the skin. Girl. Wow. Okay guys, and now we're gonna finish it out with lips. So I'm going to line my lips with this MAC lip liner in Boldly Bare. And then I'm going to use this Buxom gloss in White Russian. I'm really digging on this look and I can't wait to sit around and do nothing in it. I'm officially quarantined and home for good. I am no longer going to my job, so this is going to be my full-time job. Hopefully I can do a few more videos for you guys because I definitely got the time. Please don't forget I'm also doing my happy hour live streams 3 times a week. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, they really are a hoot. So plan what you're drinking, stop by and chat with us. Oh, I didn't cheers a product. Shit, what do I... I've cheersed it before, but I don't care. I'm cheersing it again. Natasha Denona Love Glow Palette. Good job. Okay, bye.